Hey everybody, Jake and Gino here, and we're going to do a quick video on limiting beliefs. Mr. G-Dad in the house, what's going on today?
Mr. J-Love, doing great. Day after Christmas. Everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Excited to do this short video. We really want to talk about limiting beliefs, what they are, and the 4 energy blocks. This was crucial to my success. Stumbling around, felt stuck, didn't know what was going on in my life. I said I need something better. I took it to the extreme. I want to do personal development. I ended up going to coaching school, not to become a life coach, but just to learn what's going on in my life. And one of the key, foundational principles that I learned was an energy block. There's 4 energy blocks in life, Jake. Acronym is GALE. Starts off with the limiting belief, goes on to the interpretation, then the assumption, and then the gremlin. Let me go over them really quick, Jake, with you guys. Yeah, the gremlin is the biggest one. That's the inner critic. That's the voice in your head saying, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm not smart enough. We all have that. What do you do with the gremlin? You try to expose it, and you try to make sure every time you hear that voice inside of you, expose it and say, why is that? I mean, we're born to do such wonderful things, but we are our own worst critics. And that gremlin is what stops a lot of us in our tracks. What I did is I exposed it. I got pissed off my gremlin because I was working in the kitchen. I had a chef coat on. I didn't think I was smart enough. So what did I do? I compounded it by trying to work even harder, trying to be even smarter. I used the gremlin as not an excuse, but to motivate me even more. The next one, which is not as powerful as the gremlin, but we all have it, and we go through it all through our life, is the assumption. Now, what's an assumption, Jake? Get into a real estate investment, lose money. Next time somebody brings a great kick-ass deal in front of you, what are you going to say? I just lost money. Real estate's too risky.
I never do this. This doesn't work.
That's right. You're assuming. And this is all facets of life, right? You got into a relationship with somebody, you fell in love, you broke up. 6 months later, you meet another wonderful woman, and you say to yourself, you know what, this is not going to work for me. And it's all about being.
And then people say, I'm broken, right? You're not broken.
Right. No, it's all in your subconscious saying that it would happen, so you're going to assume it's going to happen in the future. So you have to flesh out all these energy blocks. It's energy blocks, 95% of it is external, whether it's the economy or stuff working. I mean, it's 5% external, whatever is happening outside. It's 95% internal, what's going on inside of you. The next one is the interpretation. You interpret something. Jake, I send you an email. Why don't you email me back, Jake? I'm interpreting that you're not getting back to me because maybe you don't like me. Maybe you just don't have time for me. Maybe Jake never got the email. So in life, watch out how you interpret something because that's going to be really powerful. The last one is the limiting belief, which is not as strong, but hey, we all have those limiting beliefs in life. My limiting belief was you have to stay small. Don't get too big because if you get too big, you'll lose control. My limiting belief also was you have to work for yourself. You can't get too big. I had one restaurant, Jake. Why didn't I have 30 or 40? I've got 700 apartment units because I crushed that limiting belief of being too small. That was holding me back. I looked at it a different way. I had a whole paradigm shift. Did a lot of coaching, did Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read a lot of these personal development books and said, why do I have to think that way? I crushed my limiting belief. Give me an example. What are your limiting beliefs?
Number one, the just recognizing that there was a limiting belief. I didn't even know the term limiting belief. I remember a couple of years ago you told me this, and I was like, holy crap. I have limiting beliefs. And number one was I always worked corporate jobs. I didn't really believe that I could go and start a business for myself. I didn't believe I could be out on my own. That was number one, and that was real. That was number one real limiting belief. Number two, okay, we can buy a 25-unit apartment complex. I can't go and buy 150 units. That's another universe. That's like that's for like the big dogs, right? I can't do that. Donald Trump does that or somebody else. I can't do that. So then all of a sudden we're just like we started focusing. We chunked it down. What's the worst thing that can happen? How do we get the money? And we started planning it out. So we took the bigger goal and chunked it down, and we're actually able to get there. But number one was recognizing that there is limiting beliefs and knowing that they're BS. It's just a voice in your head telling you no. For whatever reason, the way you were brought up, what your mom told you, you stay small like you said. Recognize them and then crush them, right? Kill that gremlin.
And that's what I think about limiting beliefs. That's really powerful. We all have our own limiting beliefs. Me and you always talk about money and education and real estate. That's what we try to focus on. And everyone has such a limiting belief about money. It depends upon who and how you were raised. I was raised by immigrants. So I was raised by you got to work hard, you got to be there all the time, and you just got to be right in front of the cash register. But then I said to myself, how did Sam Walton and Walmart have thousands of stores? How could he do it and someone like me or you, we can't do it.
Right.
So that was my limiting belief from my parents. And I think you have to expose it and understand that's what's going on. And it's okay. Money doesn't grow on trees. You can't get rich. And it's all like, it really holds you back. And you have to really flesh it out and say to yourself, why are you thinking like that? That's the first thing you have to do is you have to say, why are you thinking like that? And it's okay. That's the way I was raised. There's nothing wrong. I still love my parents. I just don't love what they put into my mind. And I have the option to clear my mind.
No, that one thing though, right? That one thing. The rest
That's
of it
right.
was great. So.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, that one thing controls a lot of your life.
Yeah.
It's that little voice inside of you saying to yourself, oh, you're holding me back. Like I said, the gremlin. So you just have to be able to say to yourself, I need to crush that limiting belief and write down your limiting beliefs and see what you're writing down and see if there's a pattern. And the next step is get in touch with a life coach or get in touch with a coach who you can work with, who you can speak to, or a mentor. And, because you always have to look at people who are ahead of you to try to get to that point. And like Jake said, we first started out, I thought 25 units was too big for us. So can you imagine from 25 units? And that was our progression.
Yeah, but once you told me about limiting beliefs, I realized it was all BS. So guys, the number one takeaway from this video is if you don't recognize limiting beliefs right now, what's that little voice in your head telling you can't do? Realize that's crap and get over it, right?
I agree with that. Let me wrap it up real quick. Think of what's going on in your life. Think of why you have these limiting beliefs. This is a new year, Jake. In 5 days, start writing down your goals. Start focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. I know what I don't want. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want to be poor. I know what I do want. I want to be empowering to others. I want to be motivational to others. I want to be able to have a lot of money and, be the 5 F's. That's what Jake talked about. We talk about the 5 F's in our lives: finance, family. I want to be successful in every facet of my life. So I always focus and I always write my goals down.
Gino's great. Till next time.
Thanks, Jake.